Happy Tuesday for you. So it's 3.8, day 1. Today what we're going to do is we're going to apply the fundamental theorem of algebra. And since we all just figured it out, we're going to keep going. But in order for us to keep going, we actually have to go in reverse. So today what I'm going to do is, instead of asking you to find the zeros of a polynomial, we're going to reverse the process. Okay? So I'm going to give you the zeros of the polynomial, and then from there, I want you to give me the polynomial. Okay? So in the past, or up to this point, if we got to the point of a 0, so then we would have had something, and usually I write this in purple. It would have said, x equals -1 for this one. So we'll stay with this one here. Okay? So I would have said x equals -1. And the step right before that would have been x plus 1 equals 0. And so then x plus 1 then is a factor. And the same thing here with 2. We would have had x equals 2. The step right before that would have been x minus 2 equals 0. So x minus 2 would have been a factor. Same with 4. We would have had x equals 4. And so we would have had x minus 4 equals 0. And so then x minus 4 would have been my factor. And so then the step right before that would have been the polynomial written in factored form. So we would have had x plus 1 times x minus 2 times x minus 4. So now what we have to do to find the polynomial is we have to do that multiplication. So we're actually going way back to the beginning when we were actually just multiplying out these different polynomials. So I'm going to leave the x plus 1 here. And these two multiplied out, x times x gets me x squared. X times -4 is -4x. -2 times x is -2. Combined is -6x. And -2 times -4 is +8. But I'm not done just quite yet. So now I would take this x and I would distribute it in to all 3 spots here in my trinomial. So then that would be x cubed minus 6x squared plus 8x. And then I would take this 1 and I would also distribute it in to all 3 spots. X squared minus 6x plus 8. And then all told together, I add those 2 up, and that gives me my new polynomial function. X cubed minus 5x squared plus 2x plus 8. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we find the polynomial functions given the zeros. First, we turn them into factors, then we multiply the factors together, and that gives us our polynomial. Okay? Now, you might get some funky looking zeros, okay? And that's just fine. You can handle that. So first off, this 0 here is 1 plus the square root of 5, and it's 1 minus the square root of 5. I have to treat them as separate numbers. So this 4 would give me a factor of x minus 4. This one here gives me a factor of x minus 1 plus the square root of 5. This one here gives me a factor of x minus 1 minus the square root of 5. And again, we multiply all of those factors together. So my function, my polynomial function, is going to be x minus 4 times x minus 1 plus the square root of 5 times x minus 1 minus the square root of 5. Now I'm going to take those last two and I'm going to distribute. Now this is going to be a little more involved distribute because the x has to go in to all three spots. So then that would give me x squared minus x minus x times the square root of 5. Then I've got to take this negative 1, and I've got to go into all three spots. So that's going to give me negative x plus 1 plus the square root of 5. Then I've got to take this square root of 5, and it's got to go in all three spots. So that's going to be plus x square roots of 5 minus the square root of 5 minus 5. Add those all together, gives me x squared minus 2x, negative x square roots of 5 plus x square roots of 5, that goes away, minus 4, plus square root of 5 minus square root of 5 goes away. So now I can make this look prettier. F of x is x minus 4 times x squared minus 2x minus 4. And now I repeat that process again. So we have x cubed minus 2x squared minus 4x. When we distributed here, that we have minus 4x squared plus 8x plus 16 would be here, here, and there. So all told, my function f of x is going to be x cubed minus 6x squared plus 4x plus 16. Same thing if we have imaginary numbers. First off, I would treat plus or minus 1 as 1 and negative 1. Keep them separate. I would treat plus or minus 4i as positive 4i and negative 4i. That's going to give me a function of f of x equals x minus 1, x minus negative 1, which is x plus 1, x minus 4i, x minus negative 4i, which would be x plus 4i. Since I have 4 terms, I can multiply these first 2 together, and that's going to give me x squared minus x plus x minus 1, which is going to be x squared minus 1. I can multiply these 2 together, and that's going to give me x squared plus 4ix minus 4ix, and then minus plus 4ix minus 4ix, and then minus 16i squared. But remember that I squared is negative 1, so this term right here is really negative 16 times negative 1, which is positive 16. Now I can do another double distribution. X to the 4th plus 16x squared. Negative x squared minus 16 gives me a finalized function f of x as x to the 4th plus 15x squared minus 16. And that is my polynomial function. We'll do some more of these tomorrow in class when we reconvene. Thanks for playing along. We'll see you tomorrow.